tarot card reading and psychic analysis. That's what they use as a crystal ball to read your future. Yes, James?
Absolutely, Joe. 100%. By the way, the delay will have caught up now in the sense that people will have started watching the stream.
Oh, hi.
So people are now just discovering the fact that we can't talk to them, so expect them to start talking to us.
Got it.
King 4 for Timofeev. He has raised the button. Abdellatif has called out of the small blind with ace-3 of spades. Gill folds the big blind, so heads up to the flop. These two again, huh?
You guys.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Ace, ace, king. Abdellatif flops trips. Timofeev pairs his king, and of course, seeing two aces out there with no re-raise pre from the small blind is going to make him think that that king is good.
Abdellatif, a little under-repped, but it looks like we're playing some pot control here from Timofeev, which is good for him.
6 on the turn, and Abdellatif checks a second time. Delayed c-bet from Denis.
Fire and dead.
Yeah, bet's roughly half the pot, 100,000.
I think a lot of the time, no matter what Abdellatif does here, assuming he doesn't fold, Timofeev's going to... Well, maybe not. I was going to say Timofeev is going to shut it down. You got to keep those big chips on the top, son. Well, I think there's a really good chance Timofeev shuts it down now. Because the best case scenario, there's the check, check. Best case scenario, Abdellatif's calling you on the turn with a club draw. Clubs get there.
Running good. Not a bad time to do that, huh? Yeah.
I've been banging on about Logan quite a bit, but I did not mention that I don't know if I did or not, I saw Get Out, and it's fantastic. Really, really good.
Too many films.
That one, you can wait. I mean, but when it does come on video or on demand or however you buy your movies these days, it's awesome.
Ace-Jack for Smaron. Raises the button. Wozniczek is calling out of the small blind. He's got an ace, ace-deuce.
Uh-oh.
Denis has queen 5, and he's going to call as well. 3-way to the flop.
Queen 5 is live.
Ace, Jack 3, so top 2 for Smaron. Top pair for Wozniczek. Nada for Timofeev. I imagine Smaron will continue here. 125,000.
Well, Wozniczek's got no choice but to just call.
Timofeev can fold, and we'll go heads up to the turn.
Adios, muchacho.
9 of clubs. Well, this board just gets better and better for Smaron. He obviously has a lock on the hand. He's picked up the nut flush draw on the turn to go with top 2.
Do you want to make a full house, or do you want to make a flush? Or do you just want to keep your top 2?
Check, check.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Both players now with 2 pairs. Suffice to say, Smaron significantly better than Wozniczek's.
Such a classic river, though. You've got a really strong hand. pretty much any card. Oh, no, wait. Now you could be losing to a 9. Come on.
Smaron value bets river pretty
Ooh,
big.
Gets a call immediately.
330,000.
That's
Snap called by Wozniczek.
That's going to leave a mark.
Smaron moves over the 2 million mark. Wozniczek is pretty much tied with Timofeev now at the top of the leaderboard. Of nearly $300,000. Timofeev, chip leader, first to speak. Opens with Jack 9. Makes it 80,000. We have Kenny Smaron on the button here. My bad. In the small blind with Ace Jack. He just calls, and Wozniczek in the big blind also has an ace, Ace 6. He calls as well. 3-way to the flop.
Domination, nation.
King, Jack 3. Second pair for both Smaron and Timofeev. Obviously, kickers are a factor.
I think it's actually domination, nation.
Mind blown. Action has been checked to the pre-flop aggressor. Does he want to c-bet into 2 opponents with second pair? No. We're going to the turn, which is an ace. 2 pair now for Smaron. Wozniczek with a no-good top pair. You can see the percentages. He's drawing to a chop.
Yeah, everybody drawing dead to a chop. I mean, clearly not everybody. Smaron's hot, but you know what I mean.
So the turn lead from Kenny Smaron, 135,000.
Even though I just turned top pair, if I'm Wozniczek, I don't love it. I don't love it in a 3-way pot. 3 hearts out there. I really don't love this card. Might be a good action killer for Wozniczek.
This gets checked to showdown. 2 pair good. Kenny Smaron wins another pot and chips up to nearly 65 big blinds, not far behind Robin Wozniczek. And 35. Blind still 20,000, 40,000 with a 5,000 ante.
I have a feeling this Panama trip is going to be one of those ones that we talk about for years.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the thing? Remember that? Remember the thing, this thing? Remember that sports bar? Remember the lobby?
Oh.
Remember Panama? Remember the squeaky cart?
Under the gun raised from Abdellatif.
I remember.
9-7 of hearts. Ace 5 for Harpreet Gill. He folds. Kenny Smaron is out. Wozniczek calls out of the small blind. He's also got hearts. King 6. And Denis Timofeev has small ace. Ace 3 in the big. He defends, and 3 players are going to the flop. Oh, hello. 6-5-3 with 2 hearts.
Boy, everybody's got something, huh? Check this out. What's the train wreckiest card on the turn? 8 of hearts?
Ace of hearts. Would give Timofeev 2 pair and would give flushes to the other 2 players.
I'll allow it.
So Abdellatif continues for 160,000. Can't believe that Wozniczek is going anywhere with the second nut flush draw. Timofeev may be able to get away from bottom pair. Wozniczek just confirming that they are both strawberries.
If I'm Wozniczek, I might go a little crazy here.
Oh yeah, check raise. Well, that will give Timofeev an easy excuse to exit this hand. Action back on Abdellatif.
I mean, you do have top pair. And a draw to the second nuts. Or the second nut flush draw, at least. Some low straight flushes out there. Steel wheel.
Abdellatif's hand just looks so juicy, though. How can he fold it?
Yeah, I really don't know.
Was that an all-in and a call?
Yeah, it sure was.
Wow,
And
Abdellatif shoves, Wozniczek calls.
And you kind of get that because if you call and you miss and you got 9 high, what do? Like, you just think you've got so much equity and maybe you can get a fold.
Wow, it went in really quickly there, and we can see from the percentages that Wozniczek is the favorite here, but he is the player at risk. If his hand holds up, Abdellatif will be left with 170K. If Abdellatif gets lucky by hitting a 4, 7, 8, or 9.
You'd think King 6 of hearts would be a bigger favorite here.
And Wozniczek will be eliminated. Well, 12 outs with 2 cards to come.
I know, but I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just in a state of shock when it seemed that it. Well, I was pretty shocked when I saw his as well, but it's going to happen if you shove there.
You guys is right there. Stop talking about him.
Turn card is the Jack of clubs. Wozniczek now a 70% favorite. Still 12 outs for Abdellatif. A 4, 7, 8, or 9 would see him eliminate Robin Wozniczek in 5th place. The river card is a 4. He gets there, and that is the end of this German student's Panama main event journey.
Wow.
Just going to verify the stacks.
Sam the Manic Flea says, we need a competition. Sam, sure, give us a suggestion.
So Timofeev completed in the small. Abdellatif is raised from the big with the 9s, and Timofeev will call and see a flop.
Let's have some fun.
2 biggest stacks. 5, 6, 7 flop. Timofeev with the open-ended straight draw. Abdellatif still ahead. With an overpair and a gut shot, he will continue. 175,000. Timofeev calls. Turn card is a 4. That's the straight for Timofeev. Would have been much more fun if it was the 9.
Right?
So Timofeev leads turn.
Don't see how you fold this. Over pair to the board. Draw to a straight.
275K. Yeah, Abdellatif is called. 1.2 million in the middle. A 10 on the river. Timofeev with a lock on this.
Guess he's just got to give this adequate time so he doesn't look too excited to bet it straight. I think Abdellatif can get away from this. The problem is it's a good board to bluff. 550, eh?
Yeah, just under half pot.
Yep, I heard him say call. Does not get away from it, but pretty understandable. It's just, you know, looks like such a great board to bluff.
Well,
and
the net result of that hand is that Timofeev has put some dip back in 2015.
So pretty, the ace-8. In hearts.
You did say, Matt, that you have an idea for a competition and an idea of how you can make it work. Christopher Bean asks on, oh, hang on a second.
Oh, hold on, hold on.
Ace-8 under the gun, ace-queen for Denis Timofeev in the small blind. He calls. Let's see if this is a three-way hand.
Yeah, and of course this is the first time really that Gill has had enough chips that he doesn't have to think of about, you know, just getting it all in here. He can actually play this a bit deeper.
With Abdellatif calling as well, we go three-way to the flop. And look at that. Second pair, top kicker for Timofeev. The nut flush for Gill. He flops it. Action checks around. Well, the irony is he's probably going to lose his action now because a four-heart board is going to scare everyone else away.
Yeah, unfortunate no one even has a little whiff of interest because it's just so scary. Everyone else, I would guess, well, Timofeev, the only player with a proper hand, but, you know, happy to just check this down and see how things pan out. Going to try a bit of value here. He has got two players from his perspective, you know. There could be a chance to get paid off, but tricky, tricky. No, he checks it around again. Interesting. Maybe ultimately would turn out to be the best way to just try and lure someone in, but
inconsequential river card, the 5 of diamonds. Timofeev checks. Oh, wow. The guy with the 3 deuce of spades is going to try and bluff the river.
Yeah, and that's why I think maybe it was an incredibly smart check, that turn check from Gill, because you got to wait for someone to do something daft. Not that this is daft a lot of the time, but you get my point.
Jonathan Abdellatif takes a stab at it. Surely Gill has to raise here. You can't be sat there worrying that someone's got 9-10 of hearts.
Yeah.
Which is to say, while it would not be an illegal move for him to just call, it would be a bit nitty.
Yeah. But as you say, not illegal, because it isn't the nuts right now. It's
And also, he's not closing the action as well. He's still got Timofeev to act behind him.
true as well, yes.
I want to
yes.
say like 2.8, 2.7.
There is the raise. 2 towers of yellow, and that, I think, is going to get 2 pretty quick folds. Timofeev is out. Can you imagine if Abdellatif shoved here and convinced Gill that he had the straight flush?
I mean, your only other hope is that you're up against someone who maybe has the flush but hates the fact that it's 4 down. And it's one of those where if you did make a move here, it's very hard for someone without the ace to do something about it. Timing, good.
Have it royal, you have to show it, you know?
He does not have a royal flush, but he is now 3rd in chips. He moves ahead of Abdellatif on the leaderboard. The only one who thinks Abdellatif is a bit too arrogant and maybe somewhat of an angler. I don't find him arrogant. I actually find him quite entertaining and actually quite personable. Also, I haven't seen him angle. On a couple of occasions, he's asked to see his opponents 2 cards at showdown, but hey, it's poker. Information is power.
It's funny, actually, our messages crossed because just before that tweet came in, I made a comment that he was like, you know, kind of the cocky player at the table. I must admit, I went through not being sure whether I liked him or not, and because there was a time yesterday where he seemed a little bit arrogant, but I've fallen on the side of liking him and liking his shtick.
No, that was for the forgot. Go, you're on. Sorry, I was
Easy.
some social interaction.
Yeah, I don't think it's an angly thing.
I mean, it's good that you didn't.
I think it's his personality.
Dude, if there was a car behind that, that's fine. Like, there's no cars coming behind. It's crazy. Yeah, it was fucking wild, dude. And rear wheel traction? Dude, I just wiped out. Like,
Boys and cars.
was it rear wheel or front wheel? My front wheel.
There is a hand underway as well, just in case any of the players are keen. Ace, Queen, 6, Rainbow. Ace has hit Gill. Queen has hit Jonathan. Well, that might work well for Gill. Now perhaps Jonathan Abdellatif finds it easier to believe this is for the taking with his queen.
What?
The one thing I will say about this game is we talk about patience and we talk about picking your spots and finding opportunities. The patience that Harpreet Gill showed during those first 2 levels today means that he has been able to cling on, then find the right opportunities, find the right spots, and actually put himself in contention to potentially get heads up. And he's just rivered quads.
Man, I mean, and you were going, well, you can't rep the aces anymore.
Oh, wow.
And so lovely that Jonathan called on the turn, because the message, of course, to Gill is, well, he didn't believe it on the turn, so go for it.
If he moves all in here, do you reckon Abdellatif can get away from it?
I don't know. I wouldn't expect him. It's not the sort of play we've seen from Gill, but I can imagine a sizable chunk.
Oh.
I mean, it's so tough.
You hate it, but you have to call, right?
I think so. I mean,
how would you ever fold a queen here?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Because you're the guy going, well, I'm folding to quads. Can I? He's gone for it. He had to call it.
Yeah.
And it's understandable, and it's no slow roll from Gill. Just quads, but no death. Sometimes life's good to you. And Harpreet Gill, again, these 4 players just taking it in turns as Mr. David Peters looks on. loving a bit of the pokers here in Panama. And Harpreet Gill up to 3.5 million, just ahead now of, here comes hand 57. Those of you keeping track at home. Gonna start with Ken Smaron here. Check 4 suited. $120 is the bet.
Lord, may we change deck, please? Possible to change deck? In the end of level? Okay, thank you.
For superstitious reasons, perhaps, he's not exactly been in the action much. Or is he just not like the
If
thickness?
I break one card, we change it now?
God, we better hope he doesn't accidentally break a card now.
Why is he so keen to change the deck? I mean, if there was a legitimate concern about a marked card or...
100K, I'll break one for you. That way you're in the clear.
100K?
100K, yeah. Not euro, dollar, but yeah. Two bigs.
100K
yeah.
chips.
Huh?
100K chips, you mean?
Two bigs? It's nothing, right?
Something for everybody here. It's middle pair
Yes.
and drawy for Gill.
Penalty for
Yeah.
Top pair and super drawy from Smaron.
chip dumping.
Oh, the world just gets better for Smaron. Trip jacks, flush draw. Gill suddenly leads the turn.
Yeah, and very fast to grab his chips and get it in there. Make of that what you will, but that was a bit more pacey than his usual action.
And Smaron raises.
Is that 3? I thought it was 380, 340. $240 to call, makes the call. Big pot brewing here. It's not all over for Gill. What a tasty beverage. Don't go too crazy. Yes, I think that's quite a wise check there, Mr. Gill. Chances of Smaron extracting a chip out of Gill? Pretty slim.
Chunky bet on the river from Smaron. And seriously?
Well,
Is he leveling himself into thinking that a 9 is good here?
no, I'm sure this is just buying himself a bit of credibility, a little bit of reputation play here. I mean, if he suddenly re-raised here, then he's changed into a new gear of crazy bonkersness. I think this is just play acting for fun.
I don't think it is. I actually think he's genuinely considering calling here.
guess thinks he's got some physical read on Smaron. I just don't get why you would think you're good.
I think Smaron's bluffing or value betting an ace.
He's just been
told it pre-flop. Fuck.
uh,
Let me see. Can't beat a 7. Can't beat a jack.
Correct.
Can't beat an overpair.
correct.
What are you beating?
Exactly.
Got a 9.
That's what I want to hear.
Oh,
Can't actually talk about the content of your hand. He
Oh,
calls.
wow, I am stunned. Huge misstep, and there was us, well, me, just having the whole conversation about there's no one here that looked likely to suddenly make a massive mistake, and this is huge.
But when you said, Matt, that you thought this was for show, I could tell it was genuine. He's
Table to bottom of the table. Who remembers that Igor, don't call me Gary Gary guy? Yeah. He was probably laying in bed, end of day 4, practicing which arm shall I lift the trophy with? Which face shall I pull at Joe Stapleton when he makes an amusing remark?
He wasn't going to need that either way.
Odds were that that would not be an issue.
All right, this is the one.
Here we go. It's a good spot. Harpreet Gill.
I got him crushed, he says.
Oh, you might-
Statistically, that is true.
Might live to regret that, though. That's a comment that you don't want tattooed on your arm. So it's ace-queen off.
yeah.
Dominating hand for Harpreet Gill. Ace-9 off for Smaron.
I called it as fuck.
I don't want to call it. I'd rather just take it down.
Yeah,
Wow. You're
I-
crushed, though.
I
Yeah.
get that.
I like that. I like that. I like mine. Queen it. Put the queen out there. Yeah. 100%.
Gill out. He's not. It was a chill out reference. He's not actually out.
I
yet.
was thinking, I think you might have been a bit premature there. I don't know if you know something from the delay.
Didn't really think. That was
Oh.
good. Oh.
Well, if you're going to
Get a
get,
9, though.
gonna
Get
get
a
hit,
I think it's gonna go runner straight for a chop pot.
Winner club, I got it.
queen or a club to keep Gill in.
Put a queen out there.
Canadian rail versus the Philadelphia rail.
Okay, all right, one more. Come on.
The dream may be over for the guillotine.
Well,
It is
Oh.
going to need to be a club or a queen, or we are going to heads up here on our final table. Can we save a Gill?
Diamonds. That's a nice card, right? King of diamonds.
It's a club.
oh,
Man.
it's on now.
The best hand
Yeah.
wins.
It's on. River. Like, not new NC's gonna say I got luck.
61 big blinds for Gill. 38 for Smaron. 35 for Timofeev after that hand. Ace king for Smaron. 2 10s for Timofeev. We could be racing. These guys have 35 big blinds each, so maybe it doesn't go all in before the flop, but whoo boy. Gill's out of the way. Smaron facing the 3-bet. Does he call in position or put in a 4th bet? Looking for confirmation of the raise size from Timofeev.
I think we know where this is going. I think we're going to get a 4-bet.
This whole final table, no, this whole 3-handed has been tense AF.
The open was to 160, the 3-bet 475. With these stacks, there's no way he just calls here.
1.1 minutes.
4-bet alert. Big hand after big hand. And Smaron's made it so that Timofeev can't just call either.
Yeah.
Yo.
There's the shove and the call, and we're off to the races. Classic race underway at the final table. The 10s of Timofeev racing against the ace-king of Smaron. Timofeev officially at risk. Smaron will be left with just 200K if he loses this. If Timofeev loses, we're down to 2. We're going heads up.
This is a sick race. This is like beef versus chicken.
Whoever wins this is going to be the chip leader. Gill's loving it a little bit too much.
Kenny Smaron looks like he is about to pass out.
This could well be the last hand before dinner, regardless of the result. It's a low flop, no ace, no king. 10's holding. Oh dear. The turn card is a deuce. Wheel draw alert. 10 outs now for Smaron. Aces, kings, and 3s eliminate Timofeev.
In Smaron's position, you're happy you picked up outs, but you just have a terrible feeling.
10 cards for Timofeev to swerve on the river. The river card is a 3. And that will see the elimination of Denis Timofeev. The start of day chip leader goes out in 3rd place. We are going heads up here in Panama. Kenneth Smaron from the USA with a 75 big